I wanted to start off by talking about your diet because you're obviously in incredible shape. You've lost a bunch of weight, and I hear you have this absurd, very strict diet. But before we get to that, I want to go back to earlier days in the NBA when it wasn't as good.
I used to eat a lot of candy. Just coming from the South, my granddad, when we went to go visit him, he would give us a big pack, like a 10-pack of like the fun size Snickers and Baby Ruth and stuff like that. And that's why I just developed that like sweet tooth. And then as I got older, it just kept going. I just started to love Skittles, and all I wanted was Skittles, 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 and Starburst. And then I just, I couldn't stop. And then I fell in love with honey buns. And I would eat like at least 4 or 5 of them a day, maybe more, just heat them up and have some ice cold water with it. It was so good.
And this is like, you're an NBA player.
Oh yeah, yeah. My routine one season was McDonald's before every game. And my teammates wanted me to, I would get 2 double cheeseburgers, a large fry, a small fry, a strawberry chocolate milkshake, and a large Coke, and go have like the best game of my life. So I was like, I gotta keep this up, it's working. Then I got older, and I was like, nah, this is not right.
And could you feel that the food was having a different impact on you when you got older, or you were just more conscious of
No, I was just more
and...
conscious, you know what I'm saying, and wanting to just stay fit, I'm looking ahead, because I think all of us love eating, like Chick-fil-A now, even though that's not like, they don't say it's fast food or it's not healthy.
I hear you have a thing for their fries.
Oh my goodness. Chick-fil-A has the best fries. I never had nothing like it. My kids love it. It's right up the street from my house, and it's like, I can't go there no more, and I'm so mad, but it's good.
So what did the Lakers, or the then Lakers nutritionist, say to you that helped convince you to change eating habits?
Well, I want to live for a long time. And I told myself I was gonna have to change up what I eat, what I drink, and once I did that, it was just like, okay, this is simple. They took away all the candy out of my pantry. I used to have a big pantry full of candy from Sam's Club. We would get Tootsie Rolls, lollipops, Skittles, Starburst, Twix, Snickers, every candy you could think. It was like a gas station at my house. So people just come to my house and they'll get a bucket and they'll go take all the candy. And I got rid of all the candy, and I was like, I can't do this no more.
That wasn't hard for you to do?
It wasn't hard.
Okay. Were you, because I read one of the stories about your diet, talking about the Lakers nutritionist, were you like pre-diabetic? Or was that just
No,
like...
I just think that they were trying to really get my attention. They didn't want me to continue the path I was going. So
they were trying to freak you out, if
probably so.
And you like tingling in your fingers or legs?
No, I never had none of that. But if I did eat candy, it was like my body was shaking like, we need more candy.
So why decide recently to lose weight?
The NBA is way different, than when I first came in. I came in at the weight where I'm almost at right now, which is crazy, but back then you needed to be really big and be able to move guys. And when I first came in, I wasn't able to do that because I wasn't strong enough. And so I decided, well, I'm just gonna eat meat, potatoes, and do a whole bunch of exercise in the weight room and try to get as big as I can. And that's what I did,
I watched some earlier interviews you did where you were talking about what you did, and you said steak and potatoes.
Steak and potatoes, I was eating that in every city. My teammates, we went to some of the craziest restaurants, and since I was a rookie, the first year they made me pay for everything. And so that's when I started falling in love with steak and potatoes. And did that for a couple of years, and I just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, but it just felt like I was getting slower. So I had to change
because you
diet.
were getting heavier.
Yeah, I was getting heavier, and the heaviest I've been in my career was like 280. And even though it looked good, like I was swollen walking around, I couldn't touch my my back. So it was like, this is a no-no, I gotta change this.
How did that affect the game?
Well, just like when I was shooting and stuff like that, I couldn't really follow through because I was just too big, you know what I'm saying? So I just had to change all that up.
And how does the shape your body's in now better work for today's game?
Well, it's more of an up and down game. More guys are out at the three-point line. It used to be 4 out, 1 in, or now it's all 5. Everybody's out. They want to keep the paint clear. So you have to adjust. And I know I can keep up as far as running and things like that, but I got to make sure that my body is in the right type of shape. So I had to lose a lot of weight.
How much weight did you lose?
I was 277, and now I'm 249.
So how do you go about doing that?
Well, I fasted.
And tell me about this fast, because this was a month-long fast.
Yes, it was a month-long fast. It wasn't that hard. I would just only have 1 meal a day, do a lot of running, conditioning, stuff like that, and eat a lot of green apples.
Why green apples?
They said that it helps flush your body out, so I was like, all right, I'll try it.
And so what would you have for that 1 meal a day?
It depends. It wasn't a lot of food. But now, like, after I start working, I was like, man, you know what? I don't really need to eat this much food. I just need to make sure that I get what I need and go about my day.
Wait, but so this 1 meal a day, it could, I would imagine it was
One meal
pretty
before
strict.
7:30 at night, 8:30.
Okay.
And I couldn't eat after 8:30.
Okay. When would you typically have the meal?
Probably around like 7:45, 8 o'clock.
So you wouldn't eat all day until 7:45, or
That's
you could have
after
an
3
apple.
workouts, I'd have like 2 apples and that's it.
I mean, you had to be starving.
I wasn't. It was just all discipline. It was really more mental than anything.
Not even the first few days?
The first few days was hard because I wanted to eat, but then I said I have a goal for myself, so it didn't faze me. It really just helped me out. It helped me see things better. I was able to make better decisions as far as working out.
Wait, how were you able to make better decisions?
I had more clarity. You know what I'm saying? So when things happen in business and stuff like that, I was able to really see what was going on and take myself out of the picture because I didn't have none of those toxins and things in my body that could cloud my mind. So it really helped out.
And you were saying as far as working out?
As far as working out, man, I just felt good in the gym. Like I wasn't tired. A lot of the running and stuff that we were doing, it was like, man, I feel really good. Like I could go play a game right now. So I said, I might as well keep this up because it's working.
And how much weight did you lose over the month?
Well, I started at 277. By the time the fast was over with, I was 259.
Okay. Mm-hmm. It's a lot over a month. And you said you kept it up, or you wanted to keep up parts of it after the fast? How did that impact your diet moving forward?
Well, now I have to eat 5 times a day. Which is good. It's like small snacks and then it's like 2 meals. But other than that, I don't really think about eating. My only mission right now, I'm like, man, I want to get better mentally, spiritually, and just on the business side, I want to really learn, more about how to actually run a really good business.
And I want to talk to you about that here coming up. But the last question for you on the diet front, because I understand you're eating a lot of plant-based food now more than ever before. So what does a typical day entail for you in terms of what you eat?
Well, I was making veggie burgers. I never really cooked, but this was like my first time.
Oh, you're actually doing the cooking?
I cooked like 3 times.
Okay.
And my burgers was really good. I was surprised and I was happy for myself. I just wanted everybody to eat a veggie burger.
Yeah.
And it was cool. I'd never really been in the kitchen like that, but I was making veggie burgers. I was making fruit smoothies, and I felt like a real chef. And I'm like, yo, I can do this. It was cool.
But so the normal day now?
The normal day now, usually after I get up, I probably have like a little workout drink. And it's just, I can't really eat before I work out. I might just try to get an apple or something. Then I go to the gym, we training from 10 to like 2, 3 o'clock. And after that, I really can't have a meal. I can have another drink. And then I gotta wait till 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Oh, still, you're doing that? Okay.
Yeah, for the most part.
All right, so I wanted to run through a handful of like notable moments from your career and get you to kind of recall the moment, what comes to mind.
Okay.
The first one being your final high school basketball game.
Man, that was like 16 years ago. Dang, it was emotional, very emotional. Because I knew at that point I wasn't gonna be a kid no more. And I was like, man, I enjoyed this. Like, you can ask any one of my teammates, in high school. I never talked about going to the NBA. I never even tried to talk about basketball with my teammates. We tried to just enjoy being in high school. And the last game, I remember after the buzzer, coach crying, and it made me cry. And I was like, man, this feels so good, man. I wish everyone can, feel this, the state that we were in, like all of us were just full of emotions because we had tried for 3 years and we never succeeded. And the year before we won it, we lost in the championship. And our coach made me and one of my teammates sit and watch the other team celebrate. It was the worst thing in the world. I'm like, why would he torture us like this? And what it did was just give us motivation. Probably about 2 weeks after that, we were all in the gym working because we wanted to win that year. And, it was just like, man, all this hard work that we put in just paid off.
Even you get a little emotional almost now.
Yeah, just thinking about it.
Why?
Because it was, I was a kid, and I'm like, man, I really want to win. And I just remember just sacrificing whatever I had to sacrifice to win. So it felt pretty good.
The NBA draft and your name being called as the first overall pick by Commissioner David Stern.
Yes.
Describe that moment.
Oh, man.
Your dad almost busted the table, too.
My dad went crazy. I didn't know what to expect. I was like, man, I want to go number one. This is my dream. I had wrote it down as one of my goals, and I placed it on top of my bed. And I just looked at it every day, like, I want to be the number one pick. I'm going to be the number one pick. And I was so nervous on draft night. I was like, man, what if they don't pick me, man? I'm going to feel bad. And right before David Stern came out, I think his name was Melvin Eli. He said, you going number one, bro. And I was like, nah, you lying. He was like, I promise you, man, just go be great. And I was like, dang, all right. And then my agent said, when they call your name, give your mom a kiss and give your dad a hug and go shake David Stern's hand. So they call my name and my dad jumps up and he just pounds the table, boom. Looking at him like, man, this man crazy. And my mom was like, oh my God. I thought she was about to faint. And I was like, yo, this is an awesome experience. And get up on stage and I shake David Stern's hand. I'm like, well, here's the journey. It's about to start right now. It was an unbelievable feeling.
Your dad says his favorite moment from your career is your first game, but not even the game, just watching you run through the tunnel.
Oh, wow.
What do you remember from that?
It was different from high school. I was so used to guys getting what we call crunk, like happy, excited, or like amped up to play. Like in high school, we had a clap, we'll push each other around. And I'm getting with these old men, or older guys, and they're just like, yeah, you ready to hoop? I'm like, y'all ain't gonna clap, y'all ain't gonna like bump chests or do anything. It was just like, it was a whole different atmosphere. And I didn't know how to adjust to it, because for my whole high school career, we literally, before the game started, we was already tired. Because we was jumping around, was clapping, was rapping to each other. Like the first quarter sometimes was really bad for us. But it was way different. Guys were just, like in their zone. And
And this is before even one and done, so you went literally high school
I didn't
to
know,
NBA.
And I hated to lose, so I would cry after all the games that we lost. And they'd be like, yo, we got another game in 2 days, bro. Don't cry no more. So it was like
like in front of your teammates?
I would be crying because I was like, man, we lost. Like, I'd be so pissed because I didn't want to lose. And they said, young fella, it's okay. We got another game in 2 days. So I had to learn that too.
So those were some moments from early in your career, and I want to go back even more and talk to you about family and your parents. Your mom played college basketball. Your dad was a Georgia State Trooper, was the athletic director of where
Correct.
you went to high school. Pregnancies for you and your siblings were tough to say the least. What do you know about what went on that front?
Oh, man, my dad would tell the story every couple days that when we got in trouble or something. Hey, Dwight, now let me talk to you. See, your mom, she lost 7 kids. And then you came. And man, we were so hurt that we lost all these kids. And she was just so excited to have her baby being born. And she called you her miracle child. And I'm like, dang. So it was pretty tough hearing that, but I was like, man, we gotta try to make up for whatever they feel that they lost with just how we treat people, how we treat ourselves, and how we respect our parents. So I just tried to give my parents and my family the best of me every single day, just to tell them thank you for me being here. I know it was tough for my mom. My dad said she was on bed rest almost the whole time that she was pregnant with me.
And why?
She was afraid to lose another child. She had lost some in some really bad ways, and she didn't want to lose me. And I was a preemie.
Like by 2 months, right?
Mm-hmm. It was crazy.
Yeah, when I read that, I'm like, how does?
I don't know what happened. I don't know. I'm
You.
the tallest person ever in my family, so it's like, it's crazy.
Yeah, and you have, I believe, an older sister, younger brother. Your mom and dad have been together.
They've been together.
How uncommon was that among kind of your friends growing up?
The great thing about it back then is that, everything was family orientated. We did everything together, and that's kind of where we got our foundation, from being at, our school, the church that we went to, so we got a lot of help and a lot of guidance from, just every parent, so it felt like we were almost covered on all bases from the people who went to our school and church. I think my parents, they put us in the right situations, and I appreciate that. My mom, she started out in the court system, working at the courts. She was a court clerk.
Oh, really?
And we would go up there every day, and I would see a lot of the people who had made some bad decisions, so they had to go to jail and stuff like that. And I didn't want my mom to have that type of hurt of seeing her child go down that path. So I just tried to really just stay focused and lock in on what I want to do in my life.
What impresses you about the effort your parents put in to provide for you and your siblings?
It's just that they never stopped working. No matter what the situation is, no matter what they had going on, my parents, continued to work, continued to, try to inspire us and motivate us by the work that they were putting in every day. My dad being, a cop, which is a very strenuous job, and the amount of hate that he received, from just people that, would see him in a cop car. I had the opportunity to ride with him a lot in a car, and I could just feel and see how people, they hated the fact that, he was a cop.
What would they do, or what would they say?
Just shoot birds at the car, cuss at them or whatever. And I'm like, man, my dad ain't never did nothing to none of these people. He just doing his job. So we had to deal with that a lot.
Is that what you remember thinking when you were a little kid?
I wanted to be a cop, and then I was like, man, I don't know no more.
What did he say to you about it when it was going on at the time?
He just told me not to focus on it. Continue to stay locked in on, my destiny and what I want to be in my life.
What do you think you learned from them?
I would say with my dad, just perseverance. Being a cop is very hard. And I didn't realize how hard it was until I started riding with him and I got a little bit older. And, just dealing with people and emotions and how high and how tempers can flare when a cop pulls you over, just seeing all that stuff, talking to my dad about it, just surviving those different situations, that's pretty tough. And, with my mom.
You get your emotion from her, right?
I do, but I understand, losing 7 kids can really make you emotional. And a lot of times, I think the kid usually ends up being how that mom was during that time of pregnancy, and she was very emotional. So yeah, I'm pretty emotional. I've cried a lot during movies, basketball games.
Wait, what movies?
What movies have I cried in? Oh man.
Don't say like Finding Nemo or something.
I did.
No, you didn't.
Yeah. I cried the first time because it was a scene where Nemo had just found his dad again. And so it was like, it was emotional because like he was lost in the ocean and his dad is looking for him all over the place. He went through all types of, sharks. He fought sharks. There was a little fish that had one little light. Then he had an annoying friend who wouldn't stop talking, but she forgot everything they talked about to find his son. I was like, man, that's good. And I cried. But The Notebook, that was a tearjerker. But then it's a new movie with Lady Gaga. She's a singer.
Oh, with Bradley Cooper, right?
Yes. I was watching the movie and at the end she sang a song and I was like, she's good. But I cried, so I was like, dang. Yeah, so I have times where I'm emotional.
You mentioned your dad being a cop.
Mm-hmm.
In what ways was he tough on you? I mean, cop
He
for a
wasn't
dad,
really that tough on me because I really was locked in on what I wanted to do. Now, I was silly, loved to joke, loved to have fun. But when it came down to what I want to be in life, I took that very serious. I trained hard as I could, and I never stopped. He told me at 10, he said, if you want to make it to the NBA, you got to sacrifice. And I used that for, everything in my life. If you want to get something, you got to give something up to get it. You got to sacrifice. And a lot of times it's hard. And then after you sacrifice, it's just about being disciplined.
And I want to ask you about some of those conversations momentarily. The area you grew up in, how would you describe it?
Really tough, really rough area. I think the only protection I had was that my dad had his cop car. So people knew that, my dad was a cop. But I really didn't have any problems because I had the only basketball goal in the area. So a lot of people would come over and play. And that's kind of how I learned how to really just, play basketball. I was playing against older people every day. And even though I was the shortest one, I just tried to play as hard as I can and just dominate. And I had one friend back in College Park, he was like, man, you got to stay away from all this stuff. It's crazy. It's drug dealers, it's gang infested. Stay in the gym, keep working on your game. He's the guy that taught me how to dunk. We used the trampoline at first, but he taught me, how to, just play basketball. He spent time with me. It's one of the guys who, I appreciate for helping me.
How much did that resonate with you at the time when he was saying it?
Oh, it was just big because I really didn't have a lot of people, because of the neighborhood that we lived in. And he really just took his time. He was probably a couple years older than me, but.
Just a fellow student?
It's just somebody that lived in the neighborhood that would come play basketball. You know, I would stay outside and play basketball until the lightning bugs would come out. And then I would have to go in because I couldn't see no more.
In what ways was the neighborhood rough?
Oh man, it's gang infested, drug infested. It's a lot better now. But
Like, what do you remember seeing back then?
just hearing a lot of sirens, gunshots, a lot of fights. You know, we stayed like around a lot of apartment complexes, and you know, my parents didn't want us to really get involved in anything, so we couldn't even really walk down the street to the gas station because it was a very bad area, and they kind of kept us protected.
Why will you occasionally, or at least why would you used to occasionally drive back to College Park?
I still do.
And you'll let your like car idle out front of the lot where your childhood home used to be?
Just because I just want to see, you know, where I came from, you know, the foundation. You know, the house is not there no more. But every time I go or even think about it, you know, I could just see and picture all the things we did as kids and, you know, how it's helped me get to where I'm at. You know, I didn't have a TV to watch, so I couldn't watch a lot of basketball. But what I did have was a Magic Johnson workout tape. And I looked at that, and then I would go outside and work on drills. This is before we even had a basketball goal. We just do drills all day, me and my brother. And that's how I learned how to play.
What do you remember from 10, 11 years old telling your dad you wanted to be in the NBA?
I remember we had an AAU tournament, and I want to say it was either in North Carolina or Florida. And after the AAU tournament, I sat down with my dad and I told him, I said, I think I can make it to the NBA. And he said, why you say that? I said, because I really feel like I'm the best. And he said, well, if you really feel that way, you want to go to the NBA, you got to sacrifice. And, you know, I said, you know what, I'll do it. I'll do whatever it takes. And that's what I did. Every day I worked on my game. Every day I worked on my conditioning. Every day I did something to get better, except I did not want to run track.
No?
Which is crazy because now I love running track.
Oh, you run track now?
Yeah, I didn't like to run on the track because I thought it wasn't cool. And the last day I ran track, it was at a track meet, and it was a girl that I was like in love with at the time. And
You want to give her a shout out?
what was her name? Look, I can't remember her name. Start with an L. But she came to the track. But I really didn't want to run that day. So my dad said, well, you got to take off your pants and you run with your shorts. But I didn't want to do it. So I decided to run the track race, the 400 meter, with some big sweatpants on. So every 3-4 steps, I was having to pull up my pants. And I got like second to last place. And then that's when I told my dad, Dad, I really don't like track. I just want to play basketball and baseball and football. Can I please do that instead of running track? And he let me do that.
What would he say to you about outstanding being the norm? He was
He
telling
didn't
me
talk.
he said he used to impress upon you like outstanding being the norm.
Well, for me, you know, he just told me to stay humble. And, you know, that was always my motto. You know, stay humble no matter what the situation is. And then I had a situation where I kind of got out of my character and I actually had to pay for it. I broke my leg.
How did that happen?
I was going up to dunk in practice one day and came down and it popped and it swole up. And when that happened, the girls that I thought liked me stopped talking to me. The coaches and teams that I thought wanted me to go to college when I got a little bit older, they stopped calling. And I just saw a whole different, like a complete shift. Like people was like, oh, he's not gonna make it, so let's leave him alone. And I promised myself after that, I would never change. I will always stay humble. No matter what the situation is, no matter what I have, I would never boast or brag or talk about that stuff because, you know, it could all be taken away just like that.
How old were you at the time?
I was 15.
How did that make you feel at the time when all these
hurt.
people that seemed interested in you.
It hurt.
Pulled back.
It really hurt. But it taught me a valuable lesson. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, just always stay humble. And that's the lesson that I really try to, teach my kids. Be humble no matter what's going on.
What, if anything, do you remember your parents saying to you during that tough time?
Well, I didn't express to them how tough it was.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I didn't.
Did you tell anybody?
No.
Why not?
Because I didn't want nobody to think I was weak. So I just kept it to myself. And it really bothered me because I was like, dang, like I really thought, I thought these people cared about me. And they didn't, so that really hurt. And I found myself alone. And I just promised myself I would never be that type of person again.
How did you get through it, and how long did it take?
How did I get through it? I watched a lot of White Shadow. You remember that show?
I know.
It's on ESPN, and White Shadow is a basketball show.
Okay.
It's a white guy who coached some black kids. It was like in the 70s or some 60s, something like that. And I liked it. I watched it every day. It kind of kept me, sane. And then I was able to work out in the pool. So that's what I did every day. Just think about how can I make it to the next level and show everybody who doubted me that, I am who I am.
How is it possible to be the best high school player in America when your graduating class only has 16 kids?
I never thought about it that way. I just wanted to enjoy my time, enjoy that moment. High school was a lot of fun. I was the school president or co-president. My classmates were amazing, and we enjoyed ourselves. We basically grew up together, so I didn't want the fact that I was going, or that my dream was to be going to the NBA, be the first pick, and being the best player in the nation. I didn't want my teammates or my classmates or anybody in my school to feel like I was cocky. So I literally never talked about it. I wanted to enjoy what we had, because traveling, being on the team that I was on, we had the water boy. He was signing autographs. Our principal, she was signing autographs. It was so cool. I was like, man, this is an amazing feeling. Like, this is great for our school. We got the smallest school in Georgia. We only got 16 people in my class. Like, this is what it's about right here.
At what point in your head did you establish that if you had the opportunity, you were going to skip college and go straight to the
Oh, when
NBA?
I was 10.
Oh, when you were 10?
Yeah,
Really?
my dream was to go to the NBA straight out of high school. I didn't really want to go to college.
And what did your parents think of that?
My mom wanted me to go. My dad said, pursue your dream, but my mom thought it would have been good for me to go to college. But I was like, Ma, you go to college to learn how to earn a living. This is me earning a living. I think I've done pretty good with practice and stuff.
Did she come around as you got closer?
Nah, she still wanted me to go to college. And then I said, listen, Ma, I love you, but I want to go to the NBA. And she understood, but she said, well, are you gonna go back? I said, yeah, I'm gonna go back and visit all the colleges and tell them, hey, and thank you for sending me cards and want me to come to your school. I really appreciate it.
And UNC really gave you their best
Well,
go,
that was the school I wanted to go to, because they had a program for acting. And I thought they were a really good basketball team, so I thought I could do both. Yes. Great guy, great coach. Took me to his house. He had like this old school Thunderbird that he thought that was the coldest car in the world. I'm like, this car ugly, but I didn't say nothing. It was fun though. I had a good time going to see some of the colleges that I did see, but I felt like my mission and my destiny is in the NBA.
In what ways would you say you were sheltered when you entered the NBA?
Well, coming from a school that only has 16 people, it's a lot of things we didn't know about. But just life in general, it was my first time being on my own. I think sometimes an advantage for people who go to college is that they get a chance to network, they get a chance to make those mistakes and still be a kid. But for me, it was a little bit different. Coming in at 18, going to the NBA, now I'm playing with 30-year-olds, now I'm playing for a franchise, where it's a little bit different when you have just the principal and stuff like that and your coach. But now you have the GM, you got the president, you got the owner, you got all these fans. And, at first it was a little overwhelming, but I enjoyed it. I tried to embrace every moment that I had. And, even in every city, no matter how it ended, I wanted to embrace all those moments.
But how different pre-NBA was your kind of sheltered existence relative to
I didn't
this
know
giant
anything.
world that
I didn't
opened
know
up?
anything. I didn't know nothing.
Like what are examples of stuff that you were all of a sudden exposed to?
Just like, how to really take care of your money. Clubs. I never went to a club. Never had a chance to drink. Like just little things that I was just learning about, that I didn't really know existed until I got to the NBA.
Why did your teammates who took you to a club for the first time vow to never take you again?
Well, they just, we had a bad game and I had one, and they just looked at me as the little bro. Like, we gotta take care of little bro. So we went out one night in Toronto, and I thought it was fun. I had been out, I was dancing, having a good time, and the next day I didn't have a good game and we got blown out. And they said, you're never going out again, you gotta stay locked in. So after that, I never really went out no more. No matter what team I was on, I would only go out a little bit because I felt like I did not want to let my teammates down or myself.
Your dad said what he was most surprised by when you got to the league was like how polished people were in deception. Like that he tried to warn you about
well,
that.
I think everyone goes through it. It's a situation where, you don't know anything about money. You don't know how to spend. You don't know any of that stuff. So I just think that, despite what my dad, would say about it, they did the best they could. For me, there's a lot of things I didn't know. So people were able to deceive me. But, I had to actually sit back and learn, things like, financial literacy. So now I could teach my kids. So I just look at all the positives that could come out of a situation like that. Yeah, there's a lot of people who are, I call them Decepticons, like on the Transformers. But there's a lot of people who are like that, but it's a lot of really good people out there. So it's like you can't really, just gotta find a balance, and it's tough to find as a kid.
Well, it had to be a great learning experience for you. What do you think some of the things were that had you known ahead of time, it would have helped you through it?
Just like I said, financial literacy. It's not a course or anything that we took as kids to learn about our money. So I would really love to help, teach kids and teach people in general, how to be how to really just do things on their own. I think a lot of times we go, like for us, for NBA players, we're so busy that we put people in places, for us while we play basketball. But I want my children, I want kids who are coming up who are trying to make it to the NBA, and just people in general to learn how to be self-sufficient, coming into a situation where you're getting tons of money at 18, you don't know what to do with it. You know what I'm saying? So and I would want to turn that, I wouldn't say negative, but I guess it is kind of negative because I didn't know, but turn that into something positive by, showing kids and showing even adults like, hey, it's never too late to learn. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at with it.
And there was, correct me if I'm wrong, there was like a couple-year period where you didn't call your parents. To what extent was it because you just didn't want to hear?
No, it had nothing to do with that. I just think sometimes in life, it's nothing to do with family or you mad at them or anything like that. But for me, I've never been on my own.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the situations that I've had, I've had to learn how to handle them on my own and step up and be a man. And it was nothing never against my parents. I love them to death. And, I just felt like there's things that I have to learn how to handle. If not, I will never be able to level up, per se.
How do you tell them that at the time?
It's very hard to tell, your parents, anything that they would feel would hurt. But you just have to be upfront and honest. That's one thing that I, try to, talk to my kids about. It's okay to communicate. Even if you feel a certain way, I will never get mad if you just come talk to me. And if you don't want to come talk, it's okay too. I'll be here when you're ready. I will never stop loving you.
How did they handle that?
I'm pretty sure my parents were probably hurt and felt a certain type of way about it. But I would never do anything intentional to hurt my parents.
How did you guys get through it?
Just communication, just spending time with each other, just talking. It's just like any other family. You know what I'm saying? We all go through family issues and family things, but at the end of the day, you only get one mom, you get one dad, one me, this my brother and my sister. We lost those 7 kids, but my older brother passed away a couple years ago. So, for me, the past, any issues, I don't stick with it. I let it go and just try to stay in the moment. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the best way. Was
there a time that you made the conscious decision, all right, I gotta pick up the phone or reach out to mom
I just
and dad?
think all of us have issues in life that we sometimes have to deal with on our own.
Yeah.
But I love my parents, regardless. I think they did an amazing job of raising me.
So, you're young, drafted first overall, you come into all this money, people, as you mentioned, kind of have ulterior motives. And I read you talked about, just what people that you thought were close to you were billing you for limos or plane time, you later found out was extraordinary. What were ways in which you later learned stuff like that was going on?
Well, just really sitting back and paying attention. A lot of times you have to get quiet. You have to get away from everybody just to kind of take yourself out of the situation so you can see what's going on. And that's what I had to do.
And what did you see?
What did I see?
What did you find out?
Well, just people are just going to be people. You never know what people may need, And I think a lot of times people talk about how, they've been taken advantage of and stuff like that. But for me, I just took myself out of the situation and just try to see it from the other person's views. Why would they do this? Did they need this? There's something going on with them. And I try to take it as I'm upset that they took from me because I was just the victim. It could have been anybody, but I was just that person at that moment that they decided, things decided to happen from. So.
And you're really like at that moment when you recognize it, able to take a step back like
you
that?
You have to. One thing I learned is you can't allow your emotions. Like I said earlier, I'm emotional when it comes to movies and stuff like that. But when it comes to business, when it comes to different things, you got to be able to take your emotions out of the picture in order to fulfill your destiny.
How do you go about addressing it with them and
you don't have to
cut
you don't
them
have to.
out?
You just when you see how somebody is, you just have to get them out your life. And sometimes it takes many lessons. I don't look at any situation that I've had in regret.
Because these could be like family or close friends.
It could be family, friends, anybody. I don't look at it in a negative way. It was something for me to learn out of each situation, even if it was good or bad. It was a way for me to learn. I don't see it as a loss. I see it as something that I needed in order for me to get to the next level.
If you had to guess, how much do you think has been taken from you money-wise over the years?
To be honest, it's just material. It doesn't really matter. How much was taken, who took it, how it was taken. Because I'm in such a great place now, maybe I needed that to get me to where I'm at today. So I don't look at it in a bad way.
How so?
Because all of us go through different things in life in order for us to get to the next level. You know, in basketball, for example, you know, if you win all the time, you never know what it feels like to lose. And so when some people lose, you see how they act. If you look at fighters, for example, somebody who's never been knocked out. After they get knocked out, they're never the same because they've never had their chin checked. They've never had an issue. They've never had a problem. And now people know how to beat them. And until they solve that, they might end up going through it again. So there's issues that I've had that have been reoccurring.
Like what?
Just different things with people. But I won't allow that to affect me in a negative way to where I won't talk to people or I still won't, trust people. I just know, hey, you have to take control of everything that you do in your life.
And if it's reoccurring, like what do you think you allowed to continue
just trust.
to happen?
Just trust. I think in the industry that we have, a lot of players tend to trust a lot of the wrong people because we don't know, because we don't have the information, and once we have it, it's a choice on us to what we're going to do with it. But for somebody that came into the league at 18, despite everything that has happened, I think that I put myself in a pretty good position, despite all the things that anybody could say. I have no regrets. Every lesson that I needed was for me and only me. So I'm looking forward to just the growth that I've been having. I'm looking forward to more. I want to try to grow. My motto now is try to win every day.
All right, wait, I got to ask this. Mm-hmm. What did your dad say when all this was going on? Because Saturday, when I was talking to him, he's an emotional guy.
He is, and any parent would be. They don't want anybody to take advantage of their kids or anything like that. And I would expect him to be emotional.
He's like, man, when I was managing Dwight's money, we met every 2 weeks.
Well, that's how my dad is. He just wants to make sure that everything is on point. But at some point, we all have to go away from the litter. And as much as I love my parents, I have my own life and my own family that, I have to lead, and my dad is always going to be there. But for me, I'm in a different place in my life, and I always, will listen to my dad, but when it comes to certain things, I think pretty much now, I've gotten a hold of it.
The media business. How did the idea come about to get into film and media?
I've always wanted to. I love acting. I don't have a problem being in front of the camera. I'm not nervous or shy. So it was just like natural for me. I love movies. Take my kids to the movies a lot. After each movie, I would go in the mirror and practice my favorite actor and what they did and what they said and try to implement that, kind of like what I did with basketball. And that's how I wanted to get in the industry. I love acting. I've done some things with Disney. I love voiceovers. One of my favorite shows that I did was called Kick Butowski. I was a cartoon character. My name was Rock Callahan, and I was kind of like the superhero for Kick. And it was pretty cool. I enjoy that stuff. I enjoy inspiring in any way I can.
What sort of stuff like that would you like to do more of?
Oh man, I want to be like my favorite actor, Dwayne Johnson. He's my favorite person. He's like my role model, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock.
What do you like about him?
Just he has a range now. He can be the tough bully cop. He could be a bad guy, a funny bad guy. He could be a dad. Just the range that he has had over the years, I've seen him grow. And I like that. He went from one field of entertainment, killed it. He had the eye. I still can't do the eye. But he had he was amazing in wrestling. Decided to leave. Now he's one of the highest paid actors in the industry.
And are there steps you're taking now to try and set yourself up for that?
Yes, acting classes, just really just trying to get in on the production side so I can learn. I like to write as far as write plays and stuff like that. So I just want to expand on that. You know, I feel like as a professional athlete, you know, they try to just put us in a box. You play basketball, this is all you can do. You play football, this is all you can do. That's not true. You know, and I won't allow myself to fall in that category. As a kid, we were all taught that we can be whatever we want to be, you know? And it's like, when you get older, it's like, nah, you can't do this, you can't do that. I'm like, why? I just want to be. I can be this, I can be that. So I just want to go do it.
A couple projects I wanted to ask you about. Percy. Tell me about that one.
Well, just to have a guy like Christopher Walken on the movie is like crazy. That's the first thing. But to just produce a movie, like, this is like a dream come true, you know, and I'm super excited to be a part of the production company, the production team. And I can't wait to see a movie that I produce in theaters. I think that's cool. As much as I go to the movies, just to sit back and watch the credits and see my name, you know, that's like an honor.
And given how much, you know, you were in love with candy forever, it's kind of funny what the topic's about too, right?
Yes. Yeah. I don't want to talk about candy because I'm hungry.
What attracted you to the script?
Just the fact that, one, I have a farm, and the storyline that goes with Percy. I think it fits with everything that I'm trying to do as far as with the farm, as far as making sure that, you know, I provide the right type of food, vegetables and stuff like that for people. And, you know, I think this is a great way to show, you know, the creativity, but also the thought process of coming up with a good movie. I think my business partner, who's done most of the legwork for this movie, has done an amazing job, you know, so I'm very thankful to have a good business partner that understands that you got basketball, you got to get healthy. We gonna make this work.
How did it get presented to you? Because you made an investment in
I did,
the movie.
Yes,
like,
I made an investment with first with the production company. Me and my partner, we have a production company, and when we were asked about, you know, being a part of the film, it was no hesitation, you know, mainly because of the connection with Christopher, and it was like a no-brainer. It was a no-brainer.
How do you make a return on an investment like that?
It's over a couple years. It depends on if Netflix buys it.
Okay. It
depends on how well it does in box office, if it goes to theaters and get past the second round.
And like, how, when being presented this, how do you determine, like, this is a risk worth taking? I
was told one day, I was meeting with the people from Disney, and they told me that the guy who made Walt Disney, he said that it's great risk, great reward. And I always use that motto for everything, you know. If you want something great, you have to risk a lot to get it. And that's what he did. He put Walt Disney, he put everything he had into making Mickey Mouse, and look what happened. It became Disney World, Disneyland, Walt Disney Studios. So I want to try to take that same approach and just stay positive, and, you know, hopefully by the time both of us are in our 60s, we'll have a couple movies, and, you know, this episode today will be great.
How often are you reading scripts?
Just read a couple scripts a couple weeks ago, and right now the main focus is just basketball. Your
goals with the production company long term would be what?
As far as the production company, I look at a guy like Tyler Perry, and
you said you have somebody like him on your team.
Like Tyler Perry, yes. Well, Kellen is similar to Tyler Perry. That's my business partner. when it comes to the production company. So he is kind of like the young version of Will Packer. And Tyler Perry is somebody that's been in Atlanta. I've watched how he took Diary of a Mad Black Woman from the play to the big screen to now he's making movies in 14 days, and that's like his motto. I gotta make a movie in 14 days. So he is like one of my role models as far as the production side. So you got Dwayne Johnson and Tyler Perry. It's like, it's perfect.
What do you think the biggest misconception is that people have of you?
Well, I think it's a lot of them. One, that I don't really take the game serious, very immature, jokes too much, just a lot of things that I've heard. And the one thing that I really hated was just hearing people say I was a cancer in the locker room, or I'm not good to have around teammates. That really, it really affected me for a while.
How did it affect you?
Because it's not me. You know, I just would think, like, how could somebody who's won community assist awards be told by everybody that you have a great character, you're a people person, but all of a sudden bad in the locker room? It's just like it doesn't go together. You know, so that really got me. You know, one year I got teammate of the year, and then the same summer, like, he's a bad teammate. And so I'm like, this does not add up. There's no way somebody could be the teammate of the year, but a bad teammate. You know, so it's like, where's this stuff coming from? And it really had me in a place where it's like, man, this is not me. But it had me so upset where, you know, I really didn't want to, you know, be around just people in general, because I'm like, man, they're gonna think I'm a bad person, so I might as well just hide. But
really?
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Well, like, were you depressed?
I wouldn't say I was depressed, but I just didn't like the fact that my character and, you know, was being questioned. You know, who I am as a teammate was being questioned by people who've never been in the locker room.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say, because I'm about as far removed from the NBA as one can get, so I only know what I read in our research packet. But you read media stories, which you never know
if it's true or not.
If it's true or not,
Correct.
But like teammates cheering when you get traded. You know, when you read stuff like that, like, how does it make you feel?
Well,
Or do you just think, like, that's BS?
I did, and I was just trying to figure out what person would do that, because I was really cool with my teammates. You know, I've never been a bad teammate. I've never been that guy. Like I said, there's no way somebody could be the community assist player of the year in the community and be a bad teammate. This just doesn't go together. You know what I'm saying? So that really affected me. I didn't like that, you know what I'm saying? So when I would hear it and see it, you know, I would get upset. But now it's just like, man, I wish people would understand, like, that's never been me. You know, I've never been a bad teammate. I don't even know how to be a bad teammate. I don't know how to be a bad person, because it's just not who I am. So I would love to just continue to try to convey that message. I think people just see it as me just talking because I'm trying to get something, you know, get on a team, or, you know, get in people's good graces. But no, I just don't understand, like, where, you know, that would come from. So, you know, I want to just change that whole narrative.
I want to run through a handful of players' instances, and then kind of what you learned from it looking back. The first one is actually a game, but it has to do with Kobe Bryant. Lakers, Celtics, February 2013 game in Boston. We
lost that game, I think. I think I just got back from, it was my first game back from tearing my labrum. That was a very tough game. For one, you know, looking back on it, I shouldn't have played, but I think I allowed what was being said in the media, you know, and the whole circus around that season affect my judgment, you know. Playing with a torn labrum is no joke. There's a lot of guys who have surgeries, they miss a whole season. And I played every game except 6. with a torn labrum. And I remember that day like it was yesterday.
What about it?
Just the whole day was crazy. Just seeing, what the media was saying, and did you ask Kobe about your injury? Just little things, and I'm like, this doesn't add up. It's like somebody's trying to sell a story that's not true. So it did affect me at the time. I think that game was really harsh on me because I wasn't really ready, but I wanted to shut people up. And
how much did his comments bother you?
I don't think it was more so his comments. I think it was more so just all the tension that came with me getting hurt, you know what I'm saying? And at the time, I was upset that he would do that because I would expect, him to, just protect, his teammate.
And he basically said publicly that you should be playing through the injury.
Oh, yeah, he did. But it's okay. Everything happens for a reason. I needed that lesson. I needed to learn something from it to develop thicker skin.
Why do you think when you first came to the Lakers, people were telling you, like, you need to know Kobe still wants to be the star?
I don't know. I guess they felt like I wanted to come and do whatever to the team. But for me, I wanted to learn from all the guys who came before me. I was looking forward to playing with Kobe, playing with Powell, playing with Antoine Jameson, Steve Nash, because I wanted to soak up as much knowledge as I can from those guys because they played in the league longer than me. And I knew that Kobe was one of those players that's about to transition out of the NBA. So it's like, man, I could learn a lot from this guy. And I want to be that guy. When he leaves, I want him to be able to say, Dwight here, take over. And that's all I wanted. I just wanted to learn, soak up as much knowledge as possible. That way, when it's my time, I can get that knowledge to somebody else.
And then he comes out much later on, makes some comment about how, Dwight's uncomfortable being around people who want to win. Why do you think it didn't work out the way you wanted?
I just think injuries. Injuries can make or break a team. When somebody gets injured or when multiple guys get injured, the morale of the team just drops. And I think that's just what happened. Then you add the circus of playing for the world's most famous team. You add that part in, and the fact that we weren't winning like everybody expected. It was just crazy from that standpoint. But overall, man, I enjoyed playing in LA. I enjoyed playing in the Staples Center. I thought the fans were really good. It was a lot of fun. I remember hitting a 3-1 game and the crowd going crazy, and I just ran down the court like, I hit a 3, and they was just going crazy. So I enjoyed my time there. And I enjoyed going back when, when they boo me and stuff like that. I enjoy it. I do. It's not like, I don't take it as something bad, but
what about that first time when you were playing against him again?
It was no problem.
He had some choice words.
He did, but I understand like what his mission probably would be. That's just to get in my head. And at the time I allowed him to. And I had to learn from that lesson. Yeah, not, just allow all that stuff to roll off your back. Just keep going. The punches come, people gonna say this and that. And try to affect what you are doing on the court. And at that time, I did allow it to affect me. And I'm a lot better now.
And how do you get in a place where you're able to more comfortably
you just gotta
take it or let stuff rile you up?
Like I said, you gotta take the emotions out of it and look at it for what it is. This is my will, this is my destiny. Nothing else matters. No matter what you say, what he says, what anybody says. You just have to be who you want to be and live that way and play that way and not allow somebody's projection, what they're projecting on you, to affect who you are.
All right, I have to ask you about this one too, and forgive me. Stan Van Gundy, the interview. Take me through what you recall from that moment.
Oh man, it felt weird that, that whole day, wake up, go to practice, come out, shoot around. And as I'm walking out, about to go to my car, and like, hey, Stan's over there talking. You should, one of the reporters, Brian Smith, he says, Stan, you should go over there and give Stan a hug and let everybody know y'all are cool. And I'm like, cool. I don't have no problem with Stan, so I go over there and do it. And then he walks away real fast. And then they ask me, hey, you want to Stan fired? I'm like, oh man, this is crazy. Why would they do this? And that day just, it was crazy that day. I couldn't sleep before the game. I had one of the worst games in my career against the New York Knicks. I never forget it. I got booed in Orlando the whole game, and it didn't feel good. But I said, you know what? Even back then, I told myself, you gotta survive the lies. That's all you gotta do.
And he had, at the time, just told the media that he learned from management that you wanted him gone.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy that happened that way, because I never said that to the management. I told the management alone, hey, I would like to get traded. I just want to start over. I feel like I'm too comfortable here in Orlando. I have everything I want. This is great. I'm happy. I'm thankful. But I want to grow up. I've been here forever. And it was nothing against Stan. It was nothing against anybody on my team, because the two first people I called was the GM and Jameer Nelson, favorite teammate. I told him, hey, I love you. I just want to go change for my life.
And you'd said to the team that you thought like he lost the
I think I felt that he had lost the ear of the team.
Right.
And that was just my opinion.
And it was, correct me if I'm wrong, like your hope that they made a change, but then 4 or 5 weeks later they let you know that wasn't going to happen.
I just wanted for myself. It had nothing to do with Stan. You know what I'm saying? I did tell them that I felt like he lost his voice and he lost their ear. But for me, I wanted to change. I was in Orlando from 17. That's all I knew. It's the biggest city I ever seen. So now it's like, man, I just want more. I wanted to grow. I felt like I had hit a place where I was getting stagnant, and I wanted to grow. There's a lot of yes men and just people just doing whatever, for me. And I felt like, I want to grow. It had nothing to do with anybody in Orlando or the team or anything like that.
When you've watched that clip, that press conference clip, what was your reaction?
Why did Stan do that? That one? Yeah, that's what I was saying. Why would Stan do that? Now everybody in the world is gonna hate me for that. And at the time it hurt, but like I said, man, it just one of those things that just made me stronger.
To what extent do you ever wonder, you've said a million times, you always get the question, do you wish you would have stayed in Orlando? To what extent, though, do you ever wonder how it would have played out had you stayed in Orlando?
I don't look back at it, because I think that would be a problem, to continue to look backwards and you're trying to move forward. That's why rear view mirrors are this big. And the other window is really big, because you're supposed to keep looking forward. So I don't regret it, If I stayed in Orlando, maybe I don't have my 5 beautiful kids that I got. Maybe I don't have this house that we're doing the interview in. You know what I'm saying? So I don't regret or look back at any of the things that I did, because it was all a part of the plan that led me to this moment today.
And I was, before the interview, I was counting up the number of teams that you've been to since then. And you've moved around a lot, I think, whether stay with Memphis or go somewhere else. But I think will be 7 or 8 teams in 8 years. How hard has that movement just been on you personally?
Just moving from city to city, that's tough. You know what I'm saying? But the toughest part is just trying to outlive lies. That's the part, I can stay in any city. Just give me a bed and a basketball.
And you've mentioned that a few times now, outlive the lies. It gets to you.
It doesn't get to me now, but it has affected, how teams view me. It has affected how people view me, and even companies, franchises. So for me, it's just, like I said, outliving a lie.
Why do you think it's affected how teams view you?
Well, because people have said things and, it's gotten back to the media or just whatever it may be. It's just made teams feel like we don't need that problem. And I'm not a problem. But this is something that has been said. And now I have to outlive that, you know what I'm saying? Because the truth always will set people free, but people are afraid of it.
Partying. I want to read a quote you gave a couple of years back when just kind of reflecting on that. Mm-hmm. You said, quote, "You're young, you're on TV, and all these beautiful women are coming up to you. There's no comparison. But at the time, I felt like a kid who's never had candy in his whole life and suddenly is given all the candy he could ever want. If you're still just a kid, which I was, you're like, give me more." It became an issue. Mm-hmm. How so?
Well, I just think anybody who if you would have came into the NBA at 18 and you was able to see the world that we see, this fantasy world that we see, big houses, big cars, beautiful everything. I mean, as an 18-year-old kid that's never seen nothing that came from a situation where you never have anything, of course you're gonna want more and more and more. But sometimes less is more. And that's a lesson that all of us have to go through at some point in our life. Mine just didn't come when everybody else's came. Or for me, my whole life and all our entertainers, athletes, whatever, our lives, everything that we do is being seen by the world. So, like, our mistakes, people watch us grow up, so they see the mistakes we make and we get judged for it, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I don't think it's nothing I could do but just continue to be who I am. Back then, I thought different. That's just everybody. The way you probably thought yesterday is probably different from today.
Oh, I mean, if 18-year-old should be given a ton of fame and a ton of money regardless
well, we
of
can't
the
say
background.
that. We can't say
well,
that.
I mean, it's just like you're bound to make decisions.
Well, I just think that you have to think about it on any level. Just if you're 5 and you went into a candy store and you like candy. Your favorite candy is?
Snickers.
Snickers. All right. So you're 6 years old. You walk into Mars. I think that's the company that makes Snickers. And they say you can have as much Snickers as you want. What are you going to do? You're going to eat one? You know you're not.
Right.
You're going to get as many Snickers as you can because you've never had it, but you never had this type of experience. So, for people to judge somebody or any of us who are entertainers or sports, whatever it may be, for a decision that we made, you know what I'm saying? It just could have been for us, it could have been ignorance. We didn't know.
So what was the thinking then, back then when it pertained to dating or women?
I'm young. I've never experienced none of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's part of my growth. It made me who I am today. It made me want to be the man that I am today.
You said in the quote there was an issue, what happened that made you realize I need to change my ways? Well,
I wouldn't say it was an issue. I just think that the way I thought back then, I probably looked at it as an issue, but I don't see it as an issue now. I think it was just a part of the growth that I needed to go through. Like I said, all of us go through it, but for NBA players, entertainers, rappers, it's a fantasy world. It's like a fantasy. So, if you're somebody that's never had this type of fantasy, it's like your eyes are wide open now. It's like, whoa, this is amazing. And I'm pretty sure everybody would make a mistake if they had the opportunities that we would have. And, at some point you have to learn from them.
Why did the first time you had a child make you feel like your faith was challenged?
Because that's how we were raised. We were raised that if you have a child that is bad. And, as I got older, I kind of understand that it wasn't trying to protect us from having a kid. It's just the things that can come with, not being married and having a child with somebody. There's things that if you never had a kid before, you wouldn't know. And after you have 1 or 2 or 3, then you kind of you kind of understand certain things.
You have 5 kids.
Correct.
5, different partners.
Mm-hmm.
How challenging is it to create the same family environment that you enjoyed growing up?
Actually, when my kids are here, they get that environment, you know what I'm saying? They get that family, get that whatever they would need from their father. I try to be that for them. Not knowing how to raise a kid and trying to learn on the fly was something I think when people talk about not having kids before you get married, are you ready? I think that part is something that I want to really instill with my kids. Make sure that you are established, make sure you love yourself, make sure you're responsible for your actions before you bring another child into the world. So that's something that I didn't know at a young age, but I'm glad I did. Despite five moms and stuff like that, I'm glad that I have my 5 children. They're the best thing that happened to me.
What's the crash course in parenting that requires?
I mean, every day you learn something new. For me, it's 10 personalities that I'm dealing with. I have
what do you mean?
five kids, so their personalities, and not dealing with, but their moms as well. So it's just learning, how to co-parent, also being a serious relationship, and just it can be difficult at times, but for me it's just every day, like I said, try to win the day, try to learn how to be a better father, even a better co-parent, which can be tough because I never had kids before this, so I didn't know what to do.
And how do you create for a positive dynamic with the other parents?
One is communication, and it can be hard at times because it's 2 ways you can look at it. From the mother's point of view, they carried this child for 8-9 months. They feel like this is theirs, so just trying to balance that part. It's our kid, and this is how we should try to handle this. But that's something that, we're all still in the process of learning. It's not something that's easy. If somebody just had 1 kid, that's their experience, so they're learning on the fly how to raise that child.
What would you say is the best part of fatherhood?
Every part is the best part. Even even when things might not go right, it's just having, seeing that kid face, what I'm saying? Just the smile, the hugs, the "I love you, Daddy." That's amazing just for your daughter or your son, just to say, "I love you, Dad." That's bigger than life. It's better than me dunking the ball 1,000,000 times on somebody or blocking a shot or doing all that. Just having my daughter give me a hug and say, "I love you." That's like the world.
How do you think you've grown through parenthood?
Just being more understanding and realizing that, my kids, they're learning themselves. And the fact that I have 5 kids, it's just it's different personalities. So I have to really reach each kid where they're at, and that's sometimes for me playing with, being around grown men and stuff like that. I have to go back and really just show my kids. And, sometimes that can be a little difficult.
Would you have any more?
Yes, no doubt.
How many more?
Well, when I get married, as many as my wife wants.
It's a big family.
It is a big family, but we got to bring family back. Family is important in our culture, in our society. So I want to help be the catalyst for, having strong family values. You look at the different cultures that we see overseas, their tradition that they have in their families is just something that would be great to have over here in America. And I think that we have to, fathers, myself, I speak for myself, just step up, and just be that, bring that family atmosphere back, that family ties, love, all that stuff. Bring it back, the purpose, all that.
Religion. How would you explain the role it plays in your life?
Well, I would say I'm not a religious person.
You used to be, though, right?
I did. Very religious person.
What changed?
Just knowledge, just gaining more knowledge and understanding more about myself. And I think that's really kind of grounded me and helped me become, the man that I am today.
How so?
Just understanding more about what the Bible and the different books, the Quran, the Veda, just different books that kind of just basically talked about the same thing. The mind, how powerful the mind is, how powerful we are as human beings if we use our minds in the right way. And learning those different things has kind of helped me as far as being who I am, like I said.
How did you come to the realization that you really weren't religious anymore?
Just trying to gain more knowledge, spending time alone, meditating, learning about myself, tying in what was in the Bible, and actually learning what a lot of those things meant.
Was there anything from your readings of the various books that really stuck out to you?
Yeah. It's a scripture in the Bible that says the kingdom of heaven is inside of you. And for a while, I couldn't really understand what that meant. And it's like now I get it. The kingdom of heaven, the everything that you want is inside of you, your mind. And in order to see it, you have to go in first. You have to go inside yourself to get that kingdom. Heaven is inside of you.
Confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Explain the role confidence plays in your life.
I think confidence, man.
It's been a pretty big word to you.
It's a very big word. I think it should be a big word for everybody. I think we all struggle with something in life where we're not confident in. And once we understand, like I said, how powerful we are, how powerful our minds are, then there shouldn't be nothing that we can't accomplish, And I think you gotta have that confidence. The person inside you is greater than anything else.
In what ways do you think you've struggled with confidence over the years?
Not realizing that it all starts in my head. And it really can take a while, for a lot of people to understand that. And once I did, it just made me more of a confident, just a man, just more confident in who I am, and not worried about the losses or the things that have happened before, not allowing my ego to drive how I live my life. I think that's where my confidence comes from.
How much did that at the time, or lack of confidence, play into why you would occasionally call friends at halftime asking about your
I just
play?
did that in general.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, me and my girl, we both do it. We text each other, you know what I'm saying? Hey, what you think about this? How did I look here? It's just, you want to make sure that when you're playing, you being great, what I'm saying? You're doing everything good, so you always want to have people that you can just talk to and, hey, just hold me accountable. So that's kind of what it is.
When was your confidence the least, and how much has it grown since then?
I would say my confidence was shook after I left LA and got to Houston, just because of all the things that were going on. It started, I had super high confidence in Orlando. With a lot of things that happened, I started to lose confidence in myself and my personality. I lost all type of confidence. I didn't want to smile no more. All that stuff was starting to happen. And in Houston, confidence was just going down. I was watching YouTube videos of myself like, dang, I was nice. Like, who is he? But it was a phase that, I think a lot of players go through, where you feel like you're not good enough. And you really gotta get alone and find that spark again.
Why didn't you think you were good enough?
Just the different situations that was happening, the stuff that was being said. I'm a bad teammate, I'm a cancer. all that stuff started to weigh in on me.
So how do you rebound
How did I rebound from
and
it?
build the confidence and regain it?
My ego. Just let it go.
Oh, but I mean, you still had an ego then.
Yeah, and I didn't let it go. So I wasn't able to be as confident.
How do you let it go?
It has to die. It's something that we all have to die to every day in order for us to win that day or be successful.
So what does the ego tell you to do that you'll refrain from doing?
Well, no, it's just every day I have to die to my old self, my thought process, the food that I used to eat, the way like I said, the way I thought. You have to kill that. You have to, if I want to move forward, if I want to be this man, this person, then all that other stuff has to go out the
And was
window.
there a thinking that would get you in trouble?
I mean, being 18, being able to have anything you want, it's hard to let stuff go. And I think once I was able to let all that stuff go and realize that the only thing that matters is the moment that I'm in right now. All the stuff that I have is great and I'm grateful for it. I'm thankful, but it happened, it's over with. And I have to try to win the day that I'm in now, that moment. Just that's the only thing that matters.
All right, so explain the smile.
The smile. Well, I was always taught to smile and never let nobody see you hurt. So then I just fell in love with smiling. I had a teacher in high school, not high school, but middle school. She was really fine. Her name was Miss Alston. She was super fine. And I was about to get braces. And I was like, I don't think I want to get braces because I'm gonna look ugly. And she was like, boy, don't you know after you had them braces off, you're gonna have the best smile in the world. Ooh, I can't wait to see it. I was like, oh, okay. I wore braces until I went to the NBA. I kept those braces because I wanted my teeth to be really straight after that. So yeah, I love to smile. And it's good for your body.
And didn't your dad tell you to stop smiling
He
once,
did.
only to later correct himself?
He did. One season, I think I was about 12 years old, and I would always be smiling on the court because people were trying to get me off my game, and I'm like, they can't. Like, you can't stop me. You can't beat me. I'm just gonna smile and have fun. And he said I was smiling too much. And I said, how am I smiling too much? Like, I love what I'm doing. Like, this is my piece. This is the only thing I got. Like, why can't I have fun doing it? He said, you need to take it serious. I'm like, I am taking it serious. I'm having fun. Like, this is actually fun, going out there, shaking people, you know what I'm saying, crossing people up. All that stuff was fun to me. And then I tried it his way one game where I didn't smile, didn't have fun. And I played one of the worst games of my life. And then he came back and said, you know what? You need to smile. It looks better on you.
What are your philanthropy goals?
Changing the world. That's my goal.
That sounds unambitious.
What do you mean?
I'm kidding. I was kidding.
No, I just want to change the world, not just change people's thought process from inside out. I think a lot of the people that I've met, we're afraid to be who we are. We're afraid to just be we're afraid of what people are going to say about us. We're afraid of how they're going to look at us. We're just afraid, and there's no need to be. You know what I'm saying? So I want to be able to, help people just see, like, you don't have to hide whatever it is. Just be who you are. Like, you don't have to justify it to nobody. You don't have to explain why you like this. Just be who you are and enjoy who you are, because you only die once. You live every day. So why are you worried about what everybody is saying about you? Just live. Just be.
How about the most satisfying charitable experience you've had?
Doing events and, just having kids or adults or whatever it is, just say thank you and that they really appreciate it. I'm I think time is more important. Spending time with people is more important than any monetary gift you could give, you know, especially in charity. Even though it's good, but just spending time, I think it's a lot of times it's underrated. You know what I'm saying? You can learn so much. You can get so much accomplished by just spending time with the people that you're trying to give back to.
I want to end with this. When you one day undoubtedly go into the Hall of Fame, what's the likelihood you go in as a Magic?
You know what? However it happens, you know, I'll be grateful. I've had some wonderful years in the NBA, despite however those situations may have ended. It was a lesson in each year. So when it's time for me to hopefully be in the Hall of Fame, I'll be super excited. I'm going to shed some tears, and I'm going to give you a toast.
What do you want your legacy to be?
My legacy. As a basketball player?
Either or.
He did what he said he was going to do. That's it.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.